Hey, Lindsey.
Hey, Bart.
Were you a fan of 80s television?
Oh my God, yeah. That was my life.
Did you ever watch Night Court?
Yeah. I love Night Court.
Did you ever watch a little show called Cheers?
Maybe 1 or 2 or 400 episodes, yeah.
Did you ever find yourself believing it or not that you were walking on air and that you never thought you could feel so free, hee.
I would fly away on a wing and a prayer, for sure. Who could it be?
Who could it be?
Who could it be?
Well, good news. Today's movie has stars from all of those aforementioned shows. Well, I'm excited.
I am too. There's no reason to try to be the greatest American hero here, Bart. Just belly up to the bar. Don't be so bullish.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Let's just get on with it.
Yeah, let's just do this. You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Welcome to another episode of Die Laughing. Lindsey goddamn Roberts.
Bart goddamn Shannon?
How you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm good.
How was your week?
I've been sick for 13 days. I spent the holiday weekend last weekend, all 3 days in bed. Thought I was okay. And then yesterday I took a turn and felt awful. And I was going to go to the doctor today and I woke up feeling a little better. So we're just going to keep rolling.
Bart.
We had a guest last week that canceled on our
Right.
episode last week. And thankfully, because I didn't have a voice. So it worked out perfectly.
Wow.
So I am looking forward to this week, knowing now that I'm not going to die.
That's always good. I'm glad you're not going to die either.
I appreciate that. How about you?
Good. Busy, but good. A lot going on with a senior in high school. Just a lot to plan and do. He had his official signing day for college, so that was pretty cool. Very proud of him. Full ride.
Way to go, Jackson.
Yup, for bowling. Okay. Love it.
Good to hear. Let's get to this episode. This movie has a special place in my heart, I guess I should say, because I was the perfect age when this movie came out. It was one of my first video store rentals. Evil Dead was number one. The first movie I ever rented in my life was Evil Dead, which set me on a path. But this one was probably first 10 that I rented.
Wow.
So if you want, let's tell the wonderful people, the beautiful people, what our movie is today.
Oh, I absolutely will, with great joy. It gives me great joy to do so. Today, we are watching the 1985 Steve Miner directed House. Not to be confused with the Japanese version of House. Totally different. But yes, William Katt, 1985, House. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Produced by Sean S. Cunningham. Sean S. Cunningham, known for producing Last House on the Left, and then producing and directing this tiny little franchise called Friday the 13th.
Small franchise.
Yep. So big horror names behind this. Steve Miner, he also directed Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3. Friday the 13th Part 2 is my favorite Friday the 13th film.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should have stayed in the gunny sack with one eye, the town that dreaded sundown look. I thought that was spooky as shit. He also directed Warlock, Halloween H2O, a really underrated horror comedy, Lake Placid.
Gosh, so good, that one.
And he directed the taboo movie Soul Man.
I know. I didn't know if we were going to go there or not, but...
C. Thomas Howell in blackface to get a, it would be referred to these days in the Trump administration, a DEI scholarship.
The most highly inappropriate film maybe ever.
There are scenes in that movie that I still remember, and I'm terrified to see them again.
It's so cringe.
Dinner at his girlfriend's house.
Yes. Oh, boy. That's so uncomfortable. So bad.
So my guess is that Vinegar Syndrome will not be releasing a 4K version of Soul Man. That's my hunch. I could be wrong.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, that's our movie today, House. And like Lindsey said, not to be confused with the Japanese House, which we will also cover soon.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, just a fun little romp. Tone is kind of all over the place at times.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about our guest today. So let's just keep moving forward. You know what, Lindsey? Here's the thing. Let's not go back. Let's not dwell in the past.
No.
Let's keep moving forward and introduce our guest today.
Correct.
Our guest today is somebody I've worked with for years. He's DP. He's also directed as well. But he also is one of the hosts of the Movie Crew podcast, which I think they're into 400 episodes now, which, I mean, the name is there for a reason. It's for Movie Crew members who sit down and focus on a different movie every week. So highly recommend it. It will be in the show notes if you want to check it out.
Awesome.
But our movie this week, House, 1985. Our guest this week, wonderful man, dig him a lot, Jared Callan. Jared.
Hey.
Hi.
Die laughing, god dang pod. How you doing, guys? And Bart, I'm glad that you're not going to die, but if you do, make sure you die laughing.
I will. You know, I had a wheezing, rattling cough for the last 13 days. It did kind of sound like a laugh sometime. Wouldn't that have been appropriate to me?
Yeah.
Just die wheezing and laughing? And
In your intro, you brought up C. Thomas Howell. You know, I did a movie with him in 2009 called Camouflage. And I also work for Vinegar Syndrome every now and then doing like behind the scenes interviews with some of their their talent and some of their directors on some films like Haunted Ween. So check that one out and some others as well. But I will reach out and see if they would like to introduce Soul Man into their oeuvre, if you will.
I'd also like to have a conversation with C. Thomas Howell if you could figure out how to make that happen.
I'm friends with him on Facebook. I can make that happen. But yeah, so look, so this is my, I don't know if you can see it here, but my Vinegar Syndrome Homegrown Horrors Volume 3, which is I did a lot of the...
oh, man, jiving. I didn't know you did that stuff.
You know, the problem with them is they don't pay much, but I will travel just because not only is it physical media, but it's also pretty cool. And every time I work with them, they send me things, which is really neat.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I know there are other companies like them out there.
Arrow and such.
I like the catalogs that they go after. I'm a big fan. They have a nice balance of good old classics and just weird shit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're good people too.
Good.
That's awesome.
So what we typically do, we'll watch the trailer together, and the people at home can just listen, and we'll just watch it and come back and discuss, and then just jump right into it if you are down with said plan.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Here is the trailer for the 1985 horror comedy film, House.
This is a house where no one should live.
Woman lived here before you was nuts. Wouldn't be surprised if someone just got fed up and offered her.
She was my aunt.
Heart of gold, though.
Roger Cobb has come here alone.
Daddy?
But no one is ever alone in the house.
This house knows everything about you. Leave while you can.
No!
It has been waiting for him.
Hi.
Sandy.
Now, it wants you. Horror has found a new home. House. Enter at your own risk.
You got to love a short and sweet trailer. Damn.
Especially with such a strong voice. I love it. Like, I feel like we've gotten away from the trailer guy voice. It's just so nice, you know?
It is nice.
That guy was the voice of all of the horror movies of my childhood. There was one that I always remember. Not a great movie, but a weird movie. Dead and Buried. And that was that dude. I don't know who he is, but yeah, he made a living on horror movie voiceovers.
I don't know how you guys watch this film, but I kind of like the contrast look in that trailer. You know, I think that the whatever transfer that was actually felt more correct to me. Like I know that the one that I saw on Amazon Prime was polished up a little bit, but it felt a little lifted and muted. But I like the look of that. That actually felt right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like 70s horror instead of 80s horror.
Yes, it felt right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's definitely how it looked in the 80s when I rented it on VHS. The blacks were crushed like that, 100%.
You brought up like this is one of the first films that you remember renting, but this is the first time I'd ever seen this film was for this podcast. But I remember this album art, this like cover.
Oh, yeah.
It's quintessential. Like I remember
I was gonna say it's iconic.
Yeah, I remember like walking through Blockbuster as a kid, and maybe I'm projecting that, but I remember seeing that.
No, the severed hand ringing the doorbell.
It's kind of actually. It makes me want to like find. I collect vintage movie posters, and I want to find an original movie poster of that now. Now that I've done this, and I want to hang that in my house because it's so beautiful.
It is so cool, and it doesn't exist in the film. That shot, nothing.
And also the effects are a little more hokey than that. That's a little bit more like grotesque and like rotted looking, like more on the side of the way that things look in American Werewolf in London. Where it's like completely like emaciated, like rotted looking. But the things in the movie are actually a little more like hokey, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns. Also, did you see Deadstream from a few years ago? Highly recommend it.
No, but I'm gonna write it down. So you're saying Deadstream?
This YouTuber spends a night in a haunted house, and the effects very low budget, very rubbery, just like this.
Mm-hmm.
This film also had the same problem where a lot of times it was way too bright on those rubbery effects. Like if you bring the light levels down, make it a little spooky so we don't see how rubbery it actually is.
How rubbery it is. Yeah. Felt very Gremlins.
I think we're a little ruined as moviegoers, and then all three of us, we also work in the industry, and we kind of know how the sausage is made. So when we see things, we're like, that's not perfect, or it looks a little hokey or whatever. But in this movie, I saw boom shadows, and like there's a scene where like he breaks the vanity mirror, but you can see them like the mirror wiggles as they remove the set piece behind, so he can break it in a single shot. That's fine. Like the camera's a little shaky, it's a little overlit, but I think that it adds to the style of it, and it shows that they were actually working at it back then, and like what it takes to actually get that done is super impressive versus like, now we can spend the time and it's a lot easier to make things look more perfect. So I think that makes it even more endearing. We kind of have to let go of our filmmaker brain and just let it kind of like wash over us, which I think it makes it actually better.
Mm-hmm. I kind of enjoyed the rubbery creatures.
Seeing the fingers bend.
I did. Yeah, I did enjoy it. Though to me, there was something about it that just, it fed into sort of his imagination and what maybe he would be seeing and what that looks like. It made them scary, but also like not as scary.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Deadstream, it was sort of like, here are our creatures. This is a horror comedy.
Right.
We're not going straight horror here, so we're not going to spend too much time refining these creatures. I kind of felt that too.
There you go. All right, that was House. Thanks, guys. That was so much fun.
All right, that was good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Good.
This
All
really good.
thanks
Man. Wow, this is the fastest podcast I've ever done. Thank you.
Lindsay and I have run out of steam. We've given up. We've looked at the metrics, and shorter's better, so we decided to try to keep this under 10 minutes. So, Jared, thank you. Have a good day.
Appreciate that. That was good.
Oh, my God.
MovieCrewPod.com.
Shall we do this?
Let's do it. Let's dive in.
Man, right from the beginning, the credit sequence, the opening credit sequence is whack.
You don't like the infrared, bro?
Various posterized or infrared shots of the house with some really peculiar score moments from Harry Manfredini, who brought us the music for Friday the 13th as well.
Right.
In fact, if you notice, after we see all of these shots of the house, and it feels almost like Phantasm.
You're right. It has that vibe.
Like a very low budget, like late 70s, early 80s. The credit sequence does not match the film.
No.
It's a little peculiar.
I think they're setting you up for a theme.
Yeah.
If you notice, like when the camera finally comes to a rest on the house, we hear it's Friday the 13th. You hear that whack.
Yeah.
It's like, I need a sound there. I was like, oh yeah, I can just pull the one from Friday the 13th. So we open on this big house on a bright sunny day after we've gotten through this very peculiar infrared credit sequence. And the camera creeps along the house and through the gate to the back of the house, and then comes around the driveway all the way to the front of the house, where we see this delivery boy on a scooter who's arriving to deliver groceries. The delivery boy pushes through the unlocked front door, sets down the groceries in the foyer, calls throughout the house for Mrs. Hooper. No answer.
Scoffs at the Dolly painting.
He goes upstairs, everybody who goes into this house, so we always have to go through a couple of rooms first to just build tension. At a certain point, I'm like, can we not just get to her bedroom? Let's just get to her bedroom already.
Well, we got to see the expanse of the house. We got to get the vibe.
I know. Yeah, this one, yes. But later,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we know how many rooms there are now. Let's just get to the bedroom because that's where the shit's going down.
We're filling time. We got to make an hour and a half, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the delivery boy goes past a few doors, goes to this bedroom, and steps into the bedroom, and pretty good introduction to the film that we're about to see, the swinging corpse of Mrs. Cooper. She swings right into frame.
You know, she swings all the time. She doesn't. You know, she jumped yesterday, but she's still swinging.
She's still swinging.
Well, it was the 80s. It was still a swinging time.
Ew.
Right. So after we see her swing into frame, which I thought that was a nice little jump scare, I thought the makeup was good.
Yeah.
Immediately after, we cut to her funeral, and we meet her nephew, Roger Cobb, played by William Katt. And William Katt, well, anybody who over 40 will know from Lindsey.
Carrie. Oh, sorry. Lindsey.
Carrie.
Sorry.
But,
Yes.
but let's say anyone over 45 will know William Katt from
The Greatest American Hero.
The Greatest American Hero.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I would feel so free.
You guys are beautiful.
Anyway.
Thank you for singing to me.
Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
No farther, you're going to have to pay money, guys. Come on.
Oh, we're way past that. Way past that.
Believe it or not, it's just me. My sister and I loved that TV show, so I'm here for William Katt.
Yeah, my father and I did too. I definitely saw it before I saw Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we're at the funeral, and there's an old guy next to him that says that his aunt wasn't crazy. So right away we're kind of given a little insight into she may have been a little senile, but she's not crazy.
Not like my wife.
Not
He's
like my
basically
wife.
said this, who's just standing there bawling. I was like, poor lady. Not like the old ball and chain right here.
Yeah, she was having a fit.
Mm-hmm.
Very next shot, we're at a book signing for Roger Cobb. We meet some of his rabid fans. A fan asks what his next book
Billy
was.
Idol, and I mean, they just pulled every stereotype out of the book for this lineup, didn't they?
Exactly. Which was kind of what the 80s was like. It was.
Yeah, I liked it.
All over the place. A fan asked what his next book is going to be about, and he says it's going to be about his experiences in Vietnam, much to that fan's disappointment. Another fan in line, played by Mindy Sterling, who was in the Groundlings in the 80s and is best known for Frau Farbacina from the Austin Power movies. Yeah, that was her big role.
Wait, that's the one we go, Scott! That's her?
Yes.
Oh, that all makes
Isn't that
sense
great?
now. Yeah, okay.
Bring in the fembots.
She was going a little over the top, wasn't she?
No, that's good, though.
No,
She's
I mean, in
awesome.
this movie, she was
So
going a little
good.
over
Oh,
the
in this
top.
one? Yeah. Well,
yeah.
everybody in that line is completely over the top.
Yeah, but I think everyone was very excited about their one shining moment in that line. But she definitely stole the show when it came to overacting, which was always her forte.
Mm-hmm. I thought about the girl with the hair where he was like, I like your hair. And she was like, thanks. I was like, do you think she's still saying that? I was the girl in House that he liked her
It
hair.
was an odd delivery of thanks, even.
I would.
I think if we say house now, you're actually with Hugh Laurie? Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, not that.
Definitely not lupus.
We'll get that in a second. There's an actress in this movie that was also on House with Hugh Laurie.
Oh, okay.
So that fan in line asks Roger if it's true he's married to Sandy Sinclair, the actress, and Roger says, that they're now divorced, which if you're a super fan, you should really probably know, especially the things we find out about his personal life. You probably know all of this based on something big that's happened in his personal life. But hey, we're setting up characters here. Who are we to judge? After that, he and his agent are walking down the street, and his agent, Frank, tells him that if he doesn't have a new book on his desk by the end of the month, he's going to have to pay back the advance. And he tells them that nobody wants to read a book about Vietnam, which, looking back, it's like 85. The Vietnam War ended in 74, 75. I think it's 75, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just a decade after that. It's probably true. Nobody wanted to read about the Vietnam War back then. So his ex-wife, played by Kay Lenz, had a 50-year career, mostly in television, everything from the Andy Griffith Show as a child to Bones. And she was the one who also made an appearance in an episode of House. So she was in the movie House and also in the television show House.
Okay.
But that actress was in everything in my childhood. You throw a rock in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and early 2000s. She was in so many television shows.
Yeah. NCIS, Cold Case, The Closer. I mean, Heartland. I mean, my God, just she's everything.
And as a kid, I always found her very trashy beautiful.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
She's got that 80s vibe in this, though, like perfectly.
Totally.
The 80s vibe. Something I liked as a horny teenager, she never could close her mouth. She always kept her mouth open.
Yeah, I see that.
Good call.
Like, I want to appeal to a certain demographic. I'm just always going to have my mouth agape.
Always have my mouth open.
I'm ready for you,
That's
boys.
amazing. Dang it. Now I've got to rewatch House just to watch Kay Lenz's mouth.
So she calls her ex from an award show from a payphone, which still looks hilarious.
It's so set up.
A row of payphones.
The lineup of payphones. I was dying. I mean, so that where are you getting your quarters in that dress?
Exactly. She's calling Roger from an award show saying she didn't win and saying she got the message about Roger's aunt dying. And you can tell that she still cares about him, and he's pretending that he's got a big poker game at his house and turns the music up like he can't hear. And they're just, you can tell there's a moment where they're trying to connect, and she tries to connect, and he says, I got to go, and then he hangs up the phone, and then he tries to pick up the phone again, but it's too late. And so obviously
Such a jerk. Oh,
What a jerk. I'm such a jerk. I have a question. I was trying to put my 80s hat back on to remember if this was a thing, but caller ID was not a thing.
No, I think it was in the 90s.
Right. So how did he know who was calling him?
it was in the script, Lindsay.
It was in the script. I got it.
Yeah, I was about to say, if that is your line in the sand for suspension of disbelief, we are fucked.
Oh, trust me, I have a lot more on my list that are worse than that.
It's not. I'm sitting there thinking, wow, maybe he was expecting her call. I mean, that's just where my brain went. Was
Maybe.
the call with the cops before or after this?
The call happened first. He sits down to write his book and looking at the title sequence of his book, blinking on his just bitchin' 1985 IBM computer. But then immediately gets up and goes and calls the FBI and asks the agent if he knows anything new. And the agent says, no, we don't have any new information about your son. And also the agent at the CIA said, please stop calling him as well. So we know something is afoul with his son, and they have no information on it. Yeah, and then after that, he gets the call from his ex-wife.
Mm-hmm. From Sandy.
The next scene, Roger's asleep in his bed, and he has a dream about his son playing on a grave, which I thought was the first kind of cool, creepy little element.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his son's playing on this old grave on it with a wooden cross on it, and then a hand reaches out of the grave towards his son, and then Roger jerks awake from the nightmare. And he gets out of bed and immediately starts to pack.
Well, do you think that the hand that's popping out, is that a premonition of Big Ben coming back to life? Upon second viewing, I was like, is that like, we're looking like he's seeing into the other dimension where Big Ben is stealing his son?
I think you're right, because we don't know it yet either, but the foliage it's from the Vietnam scenes that we see. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's our cue that, this is Big Ben coming back from the dead to steal his son.
That's right.
In revenge
Yeah.
for not killing him when he needed it.
Yep. I think
Yeah.
you're right.
But I was also wondering, like, how long? What's the time period here?
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
How long has the kid been in the other world? And is it
Right.
should he have aged? It's like Jumanji when
Right.
when they actually finally pull Alan back out of Jumanji and he's now an adult. Should the kid have like aged? Like how long has it been since the boy's been in there?
Every scene that we jump around to in this movie is timeless. We don't even know if when he interacts with Harold, his neighbor, later, if that is this the next day or is this a week later? We just never know. They never cover any of it. And even they didn't bother even aging him from Vietnam.
For Vietnam.
No, he looks
Nope.
exactly the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. And everyone got good haircuts too. So apparently there's a barber there, which was good in Vietnam.
It's also weird that like they're at that house, like I know you're not there in your synopsis reading yet, but like when they're at the house when Jimmy disappears, why were they there? Or are we just here doing some pruning and cleaning up around the house for Aunt? Or why does the boy disappear at this house?
I had a question about that too, and I think they were just visiting. They're just visiting his aunt.
Yeah, that was my assumption too.
And then also, why there's just so many questions. It's like, why does Big Ben target this house? And because, does this house have some kind of like paranormal activity that is there that he allows us to happen? Or, so they don't really dive into any of that either.
Yeah, because if you're wanting to get back at Roger, you're going to have to wait a long time and torture that poor aunt.
I saw it as a portal. He used that as a portal to get in. He wasn't the one doing the torturing, as we saw that like there were other entities in the house besides him.
Right.
He found a passage.
Yeah, but I feel like he was the puppet master.
I didn't.
Oh, interesting. Good. We have questions, Steve. Well, actually, you know who we have questions for? Fred and Ethan. I've got questions for you.
The very next scene, we're at the aunt's house. Roger's meeting with the real estate agent about the house.
Love that guy.
Realtor Exposition Esquire? Yes.
So yeah, he's at the house and they're looking around the house and he tells the agent that he grew up in the house. So that way we find out that he was raised by his aunt. And we get a flashback of Roger trimming the hedges as his son plays in the yard. He turns around to see that his son has vanished, looking all over. As a parent, a very creepy thing, he runs out in the front yard and a car speeds off down the road.
Yeah, that was odd,
Yeah.
right?
Because that's every parent's nightmares. Like a kid's missing and then some car screeches around the corner. But it was just a total red herring because then he goes into the house and gets his wife. They're married at the time. So they start looking all over the house. And then Roger goes on the backyard and sees his son drowning in the pool, runs and jumps into the pool, jumps into the water. And the kid's gone.
The cut to this flashback was so abrupt. I was like, wait, hold on.
All of them were.
It takes you a second to get your bearings as a film viewer.
Yeah.
Because they're so abrupt.
My second viewing was easier, because I was expecting these things, but you're right. When that first time happened, I was like, wait, what the fuck? And did I miss something? So I like rewound
Exactly.
it,
You rewind it. Right.
Yeah, I was like, all right. But my second viewing, I kind of got it because I was like watching it.
This was the first time I've watched this film in a long, long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
20 years maybe. I enjoyed the strangeness of everything because it made me feel discombobulated.
Yeah.
And confused. Some of the confusion was probably totally not intentional, but
Right.
I was confused a lot, not about like, I don't understand what's happening, but we're here now. We're there. This just happened. Especially when he's writing his book later, we go straight into Vietnam. And so there's a lot of flashbacks, flash dreams, things like that. We just go straight into them.
I feel like it's part of the movie's personality almost, it's kind of like in just sort of the DNA of the film. It's jarring, but you wonder if it was on purpose.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff, you know how it is, low budget. There could have been, other scenes that explained it more and they just didn't have time.
Right.
Immediately back to present day, Roger and the real estate agent are out in the shed in the back and the agent picks up, just a harpoon gun that's just laying around. And while he's talking to Roger, he accidentally fires it and it misses Roger by a couple of inches. And then shows zero remorse.
Or just like, oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Anyways.
It felt like something straight out of the film Airplane. Like, I was like, what?
Yeah, Roger doesn't really react either. He's just like, oh, all right, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Then they walk over to find the painting that his aunt was working on when she died. And if it's of a woman looking into an open door, a glowing open door. And Roger says, that's her closet in her bedroom, which that's very astute.
It's any door in the house, right?
But Roger says that's the closet in her bedroom, the same bedroom where she hung herself. And then another flashback in the house. The cops are there investigating their missing son, and Roger insists that he was in the pool, and the cops are saying, sir, he was not in the pool. And then his aunt comes into the room, and the aunt says, it was the house that did it, with a big smile. Remember, this is
the house.
This is the aunt that the guy from the funeral said wasn't crazy.
Yeah. She's like the most creepy smile ever. And she's also kind of like not scared with her. She's just more kind of nonchalant about it.
Disassociation. She's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sandy just hauls off and screams at her.
Yeah, so I don't know what the definition of crazy is in that town, but the guy said, your aunt was not crazy, but the woman that we just got introduced to was batshit crazy.
Bananas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Bananas.
So Roger tells the agent that he is not selling the house and he's going to live there for a while.
Question.
Sure.
Did you guys notice the for sale sign?
Nope.
Craven Realty.
All right on. Boom.
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 Come on, Wes Craven.
How about that? That's awesome. No, I didn't even see that.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, Sean S. Cunningham. So that night, straight to night, super fast, just like all of our transitions. while failing to get past his first page of his novel. So he starts just sort of walking the room bored because he's got writer's block, and he starts eyeballing the marlin that's mounted on the wall. And then hears a noise upstairs. He goes upstairs, goes into his aunt's bedroom, and she's standing in the middle of the room and says, "It won, Roger. It tricked me. I didn't think it could, but it did." And she steps up on a chair and puts her head through a noose and says, "It's going to try and trick you too. It knows everything about you. Leave while you can." And then she steps off of the stool, hangs herself, he runs to her, and then she vanishes. Another really cool element.
Yeah.
Way more sane in death than she was in life.
Yeah. She's a little more grounded.
The next shot is an exterior of Roger turning on every light in the house because he's been spooked by seeing the ghost of
Very
his aunt
quickly.
in
He
the
moves
house.
to the house very quickly.
He
Yeah.
does,
quickly.
doesn't he? Well, we see later when he was rehearsing the closet pull. Maybe he was doing it that way, just diving through the house, sliding on his knees.
Very theatrically, which is incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Like most of your Vietnam vets.
Right.
Studies show that Vietnam vets love the theater. He goes to his son's room and climbs into his son's bed and goes to sleep. The very next day, while taking out the trash, Roger chases off a dog that was in his trash can and sees a beautiful woman jogging down the street. They say hi. He sees that she's his neighbor across the street. She goes into her house. And his next door neighbor steps in and says, "Pretty, huh?" And the neighbor is Harold Gordon, played by George Wendt. Norm!
Thank God you showed up, Norm.
Yeah,
We needed Norm.
we definitely needed Norm.
The quality of acting just jumped up really quickly.
Yes, it did.
And the humor.
Yeah.
And then the sequel, House 2, do you know who the neighbor was in House 2?
Uh-huh. Go for it.
John Ratzenberger.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Cliff.
Cliff. Uh-huh.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That has a great title too, The House 2, The Second Story, which is a really good title.
Yep.
Yeah. This line here that he delivers is, oh man, it made me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Are you about to get there?
I wasn't going to quote it, so if you want to quote it. He says he's glad to have somebody new moved in, if you want to quote it.
Well, I don't know the exact quote, but he's basically like, yeah, man, I'm glad to see you here. The woman lived here before, just a big bitch, super, crazy. And man, she's a crazy old lady and so glad she's not here anymore. And she's like, oh, that was my aunt. And he's like, great salt of the earth, that woman, really wonderful. Heart of gold, that one.
Say, really?
Just goes straight into it. No, I mean, it just was hilarious. He's so funny. Perfectly delivered. Also, R.I.P.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Did he die?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, he was old, but yeah.
Easy to say, though, an American treasure.
Yeah, definitely.
An American treasure.
And Harold asks if he wants to hang out, and Roger tells him that he's here to write and he's working on something new. And then he says, solitude. Which is kind of what we got a break from with George Wendt's character, is a break from that solitude, because it was getting a little, like watching one guy walk around a house was already getting a little tiresome. So thank God for George Wendt.
Mm-hmm.
That night, Roger sits down to work on his book and starts actually writing for the first time, and we see a reenactment of the story that he's writing in Vietnam. We meet Big Ben, this loose cannon played by Richard Moll, who was Bull from Night Court.
Massive.
I mean, think about it. We've got 3 major TV stars in this film. They're not big movie stars. I love that they did that. I think it's so cool.
This is a rambling thing, but it just dawned on me. The real estate agent, he plays a hotel clerk in some iconic movie.
He was very familiar. I didn't look him up, but yeah, he has a look about him. I've seen him.
He's like the hotel clerk in something like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or something.
Is that not the guy that in Ghostbusters, when they go in, he's like, I had no idea of that. I won't pay it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. It's Ghostbusters.
Well, that's ridiculous. I will not pay it.
Well, yeah, we'll just put that sucker back in there then.
Yep. Yeah. He's like, oh, no. He's also in War
Yeah.
Games. He's in Titanic. He plays Benjamin Guggenheim in Titanic.
No, it was Ghostbusters. I knew he worked at a hotel. I just
Yeah.
couldn't
As
figure
soon as
what-
you said that, it popped in my brain. I was like, yeah, that's him.
Yep. He was in Ghostbusters. Also, Richard Moll, R.I.P.
Yeah, as a big man don't live that long. But yeah, so Richard Moll, Bull from Night Court, we get to meet the battalion. They're all huddled going over a plan, and a grenade gets tossed into their camp. Ben yells to get down, and they all hit the ground, and then they're ambushed by the Viet Cong. And then immediately Roger gets distracted by his son outside. Well, first he gets distracted and looks at the television, and there's a movie on the television. He turns the movie off. Then he looks at the window, And his son is at the window calling him. And in a very odd scene, he points the remote at his son and turns the vision of his son
off.
That's one of those that on script someone thought, I think that'll work. I think that'll work. And then shoot it and like, that didn't work.
Well, yeah. It just shows that it's in his head at that point.
Yeah, it's like he's actively trying to turn it off because he doesn't think it's real yet.
Or the ghosts or whatever are in on the joke and they're like, okay. And they make themselves disappear in TV static.
Or it's a nod to the end of the film when we find out that Roger actually can control these things.
Yeah, as long as you're not scared of it, you're in control of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He then hears a noise in the house, and again, it's coming from upstairs. Of course, it's his aunt's bedroom. He walks to the closet door, and just as he's about to open it, he stops and says, I must be going crazy. And so he goes back downstairs, and then downstairs...
May I say that was the first time I saw a boom shadow? It was at that moment. Yeah.
The light was so bright sometimes, it's a wonder we didn't see it in every scene.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Downstairs, he's brushing his teeth. And he just has an instinct to go back up to the bedroom and look in that closet. And he opens the door and it's empty. But then the clock downstairs strikes midnight, causing Roger to turn around. He's already walked back downstairs again. And the clock strikes midnight. He goes back up, checks the closet again. He opens the door. And this time, this giant creature with the huge claws and all these living faces weaved into its body comes out.
Yeah. How badass was that?
That was really cool.
I was going to say that one got all the money. Do you know the budget for this film was $3 million?
But that's actually, I did a conversion on that, and that's a lot of money. That was actually like $8.7 million today. I also wonder, it was like, okay, so if you had $8.7 million and like, or they had 3 million then, but it's 8.7, like, I think it should have looked better than it does.
Considering Ready or Not was 6 million. I mean, and how beautiful that film is.
Yeah, it made over 19 million when I did the conversion. That's like 56.3 million on an $8.7 million budget. That's really good money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, man, it was a solid hit.
But also, like, how deep into the movie are we at this point when we get to this closet?
Probably 20 minutes.
And, I was kind of on the hokey mode with this movie, and I was like, all right, this movie's pretty hokey. But when I saw that closet monster, I was like, fuck, all right.
I'm in.
It grabbed me a little bit more. I think I needed that. It actually made me care about the film a little bit more. It kind of like grounded it. Okay, so this may be something that's actually interesting.
Yeah, well, plus it gave us finally a glimpse that it's not just going to be this guy walking around getting tiny glimpses of ghosts here and there, and something's actually going to be in the house.
There's something that can actually
that he can turn off with the remote.
Oh, they didn't really show it very well. You see him grab. I saw in my second viewing, like it reaches out and kind of like runs its claws across his shirt. Then he grabs his chest, which but that pays off later when we actually see the claws.
Yeah, but we don't see blood. All we see is the ripped robe.
That's nice though. Like it just shows the scale of this thing. This thing's big and it's mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when you see how far apart the claws are when he does show it later.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
This creature bursts through the door, reaches his claws out and rips them across Roger's robe. You see his robe rip. He closes the door, locks it. I think immediately it's morning again. It's like, I guess we don't need to see this guy struggling to go to sleep because
it's fine. It's fine.
I'll put some Neosporin on that and we'll call it a night.
I'd be sleeping in my car.
Yeah, I'd be gone.
Yeah, it'd be like Poltergeist, just heading straight to the motel.
100%.
Exactly.
Push the TV out on the balcony and go to bed.
Yep. The very next morning, a delivery truck arrives, and it is filled with the most glorious examples of 80s video equipment that you could ever conceive in your fucking life. Do I hear
so
Betamax cameras calling people?
Bro, me being like a nerdy little camera dude, I was like, look at this. This is incredible. He just dropped like 50 grand.
I had totally forgotten about the brand Quasar until he rolled that door open.
Man, it's impressive.
It shows you that, it's weird. This film really leans into this trope that like everyone in the world reads. And it's in a time where everyone in the world apparently was reading and they all know who this guy is.
And you can make a living at it?
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. So he's obviously rich enough that he can go off and just drop a crazy amount of money on all this kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you weren't 100% sure what the tone was of this movie up until now.
Oh, we landed now?
Land the plane, Steve.
The plane is coming in. So that night, he has set up a complete row of still cameras, video cameras, Super 8 cameras.
Audio gear.
All lined up. They're all recording, ready, and he's got a rope. And he does a test run of pulling the rope.
He's in like full army gear too.
He still has his uniform. I love that.
Goggles. He's got his uniform, his goggles.
And apparently it was kept at his aunt's house.
Apparently.
Yeah, he does a test run, pulls the rope, runs down the stairs, runs out the front door, and does a knee slide on the sidewalk.
It's like the ending number in a Broadway production. Yes.
Da-da-da-da.
One of the most overlit scenes.
Overlit scene. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Slides right into his next door neighbor, Harold, played by George Wendt. George Wendt says, solitude.
But George is walking his dog in his yard, which also lets me know that he lets him poop.
Take a shit in Roger's yard.
Yeah, good neighbor.
Nosy neighbor.
Back inside, Roger turns on all the cameras, and he's getting ready to take footage of the beast in the closet. He attaches the rope to the doorknob of the closet door, then gets ready, pulls it, door flies open. Again, it's empty. He goes back downstairs. The clock strikes midnight again, so Roger kind of realizes, oh, that was the difference. Last night it was midnight. Or I say last night. We don't fucking know.
Yeah. 8 months ago, it was midnight.
He had to save up months to get all the video equipment. And
Well, I mean, how long does that shipping take in 1985 time? There was no Amazon.
It was overnight, guys. It was overnight.
He FedExed overnight.
yeah. So 6 weeks later, he's ready to try it. So he realizes that the clock was striking midnight the night before. So he goes upstairs. He's getting ready to pull the cord, and he's immediately interrupted by Harold, who's at the door, which... It's the 80s. They come in people's houses when they please. And Harold just walked in, came upstairs, and asks if he would like a midnight snack of pizza and beer. So Roger joins him and goes downstairs, and they sit at the kitchen table, and Roger tells Harold his whole story. And Harold really only wants to know about the camera equipment upstairs. And Roger tells Harold that the house is haunted and tells him that there's something in the closet upstairs. And that's when he shows Harold the claw marks on his chest.
What about me? Do you think I'm Looney Tunes?
Right.
And his answer was almost like, well, you're not. You're famous.
Yeah, but your aunt, she was Looney Tunes. Yeah.
Yeah. But some of the monsters in this house appear kind of Looney Tunes.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying there.
You got that?
Sorry, I did. It took me a second. Harold gets up to leave, and as he's walking to the front door, he swipes Roger's phone book from the table before leaving. And then goes next door to his house, calls Roger's ex-wife to tell her that Roger's having flashbacks, seeing ghosts and stuff. She then calls Roger, but he's back to his book and doesn't answer the phone.
Did you think it was weird that she was still awake even though she had a 6:30 a.m. call time and it was 2 a.m?
I mean, I just assumed that he woke her up from a dead sleep.
She was walking around before the phone rings.
Oh, that's right. She was.
It cuts, and she's kind of like walking around the living room. The phone rings. She goes over and answers it. And she's like, what are you talking about? I got to be on set at 6:30 in the morning. It's 2 a.m. He showed up over at midnight over there with food and beer. Then they had to have their chat. So now he's back home. It's at least 1:32 in the morning if they talked quickly.
Right.
Anyways, that's my brain.
This was the 80s. Amphetamines were still a thing.
Okay, so she's
Yeah.
just up all night blowing. And then she's like, all right, cool. I'm ready for set tomorrow. She was studying her lines, guys.
So yeah, Roger is working on his book. We're back in the Vietnam flashback of his book. The company lieutenant, played by Dwyer Brown, which Dwyer Brown is the actor who, if you build it, he will come.
Really?
He is Kevin Costner's father in Field of Dreams, John Kinsella.
Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Their uniforms in this were so costume uniforms.
Yeah.
Ill-fitting, kind of felt like World War II uniforms.
Well, even the setting felt like, it felt like we're on a stage or it's like, it's way overlit and it's just very fantastical, But maybe it also leans into itself because this is him remembering it. So, of course, it would be.
Yeah, staged.
He's writing a story. He's not technically like reliving it.
But yeah, it definitely felt like they were heavy on the ferns. We need more ferns.
That should be the title of his book, Heavy on the Ferns.
Right. I love it.
So the lieutenant, who was John Kinsella from Field of Dreams, needs somebody to walk point. So Big Ben volunteers, and the lieutenant tells Roger to go with him. So off they go, walking point. Roger stops to take a break from writing and sees a child's toy car roll across the floor. And he calls his son's name. And I did like this part. He calls his son's name. And then he immediately feels embarrassed for calling his son's name. Like, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Your son's probably dead. He walks over to the mounted marlin on the wall and studies it for a minute. And then as he turns away, the eye of the marlin follows him as he walks. And Roger turns around to see that the marlin is starting to flop on the mount, slapping its head and tail against the wall.
The beginning of the Billy Bass. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Take me to the water.
That's right.
To the
The
river,
OG.
drop me in the water.
I wonder if the creator of Billy Bass was like, I want to do that, but in small form.
In small form.
Yeah, we can make millions.
Roger goes out into the shed. He finds a pistol, which he never uses that pistol again.
Yeah, I think he didn't have ammunition. I think he
Oh, okay.
found that, and then he's digging around, and then he sees the shotgun, and then he finds ammunition. He's like, okay, cool, I actually have bullets.
Gotcha. So yeah, he finds a pistol, then he finds a shotgun, then he finds this box of shells for the shotgun, but he put that pistol in his waistband, didn't he?
Dude, I'm telling you, you can buy all this like video equipment, but you can't go buy ammunition for the guns that you
Yeah.
already have. Like, we don't have to
Right.
fill out any forms to get ammunition, bro. You've already got the weapons.
Also, what the heck is the aunt up to?
Well, she was totally sane, so she
She was totally sane.
She had that gun for totally sane reasons.
Sane reasons. Yeah.
So he gets the shotgun and the shells, and then he hears a noise, turns around, and the wall of garden tools comes to life and starts flying off the wall towards him. And he runs out the door as the garden tools stop. And
Not viciously though. They're kind of cartoony. They're kind of like, hey, ah. They're
Right.
like, ah.
Right.
They kind of like wait a second before they do that. You know, they're not just like.
There's
like
definitely
after him.
some, like, it feels very Looney Tunes, right?
Yeah.
So, like, the cartoon character has an opportunity to see these things and then turn around and get away. It's like the tools might as well have looked at each other and been like, what?
they're definitely hanging on filament. So it was one of those things. I guess you can't really just make them fly,
Right.
unless you're going to speed up the film. Yeah, you're right. They sort of had a mind of their own, and their mind normally was not to attack. It was sort of to saunter. They were sauntering tools.
Yeah, they're good. I like
Sauntering
them.
tools.
They're cute.
They came in handy later.
They do come in handy later. Absolutely,
Well, they are hand tools, guys.
they are hand tools.
Oh.
Da, 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 da.
Do a little car wheel.
That was actually really good.
That was good. So back inside, Roger shoots the flopping marlin with the shotgun, and it does look very sad. It's like,
Yeah.
maybe it was just like the butterflies and the split dogs and Return of the Living Dead. They didn't want to be alive. They were just alive.
Sad fish is sad.
So yeah, he blasts the marlin. He goes to the bathroom. Or first he puts a blanket over the marlin. I bet that was shot at some point. Like a flopping blanketed marlin,
Yeah.
but we never see it again.
You would think so, right?
There was something there that they did that later. I read something about that.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense because otherwise you would just like take it down and we'd never have to worry about seeing it again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I bet there was a scene later where somebody was in that study and then the blanket started moving. And he said, it's rabid weasels.
That's a different movie. Oh, yeah. The towel over the big fish on the wall was added as they shot it out of sequence. Some of those later shots were filmed before the hole was blown into its side.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's another scene coming up soon that I believe that was shot out of sequence and explains why there's some confusing dialogue too. He goes to the bathroom and he's about to take some Valium when there's a pounding on the bathroom door. He drops all the Valium in the sink.
What a shame.
Just a handful of beautiful Valium. He opens the door and all of the garden tools have followed him inside and they're all just sort of hanging out at the door, sauntering. Just like, hey, how's it going? And then they start chasing him. He runs down the stairs and as he gets to the foyer, it's daylight. Do you notice this? We go from nighttime and now
Yes.
it's daylight.
Yeah.
And he's standing in the foyer with a shotgun in his army fatigues. And there, standing at the front door, is his ex-wife, Sandy. And she asks him what he's doing with the gun, and he puts it on the table, and with some shells. The shells roll off the table.
Yep.
She bends down to pick up the shells, and as she raises up, she's now this rubbery hag woman.
Bloated.
A good 250. Long fingers, red fingernails. I mean, Jim Henson would have been proud.
If I were more astute, I would have looked it up to see who the special effects company was for this. But it makes me wonder, because that, just like you said, Jared, that was the first thing I thought of. It was very Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has the demeanor of a Deadite, where it's like mocking.
Yeah, like someone with not enough budgets attempted a Deadite.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Art director was John Krentz Reinhold. Let's see. Special makeup effects artist was Barney Berman. Brian Wade is listed as special makeup effects artist. Oh, yeah, it was probably this dude. Eyes of Tammy Faye, Vice, Stranger Things. All right, now we're getting into it. So,
Definitely early in his career.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this big old slimy witch woman knocks Roger to the ground. He grabs a shotgun and puts 2 shells into her, knocking her back onto the front porch. Roger steps outside and sees that he's killed his ex-wife, Sandy. She's laying there with bullet holes in her. The house has tricked him, as far as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Harold looks on from next door. He sees that Roger's standing on the front porch with a gun in his hand. He doesn't see Sandy's body, but he sees Roger holding the gun, and he calls the police to report a suicide attempt. And with the quickest cop response
It's incredible, actually.
on film in history, Roger is still standing on the front porch. We hear the sirens approaching. So he picks up his dead wife and hides her body under the stairs.
No blood, by the way.
No blood.
Nope.
Even in the wide shot, there was blood on her, but
There is blood. And it's even on his
Mhm.
hands. In my second viewing, I noticed when he reaches up and he touches her face, he actually wipes blood on her face. But like very little bit, but like there's no blood on you. Imagine that if you get popped with a couple buckshot to the chest, you're leaving some blood everywhere, and there'd be an
Everywhere.
exit wound.
Yeah, no blood for the cops to find. That way we don't have to deal with that. And as we find out something later, they don't bleed anyway, I would assume.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's all trickeration. It's all ghost trickeration going on.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
a good word.
So the cops arrive to find Roger on the porch with his shotgun. 4 cops, guns drawn, so nonchalant about this man with his gun. He says he was cleaning his gun and it accidentally discharged. They say they'll have to write him a citation for discharging the weapon. No mention of a suicide call. No mention of let's take that gun away
Right.
from you. And one of the cops asks Roger if he can use his restroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then Harold comes over and Roger makes them all coffee, which is what, when you're trying to get people out of the house, the first thing you do is offer them coffee. And
Of course.
And is it me or that one cop, Alan Autry? Is it me or does he just play a cop in every single thing he does?
he was in Heat of the Night, right?
Yeah, just cops. His whole career of playing a cop. Listen, I'm here for it.
I like the cop in the hallway, and he's looking at the art, and he goes, "Oh, my aunt was an artist," and he goes, "Okay," basically like, "Yeah, sure,
Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
yeah."
So while they're all sitting in the kitchen having coffee, at least one of the cops, Harold and Roger, Harold finds a couple of shotgun shells under the table, hands them to the cop. And this is where that confusing bit of dialogue happens, because he's already told them that he discharged the weapon accidentally. And the cop says, "I thought you said that your gun wasn't loaded." And then he goes, "Well, what's the point of having a gun if you don't have shells?"
I don't know. They're just trying to make some tension here that doesn't really need to happen because of course, I have shells for my gun.
Right.
Well, he's already said he fired it.
Right, but these shells are unfired, so they're just extra shells on the floor. I'm sorry, I dropped some shells.
Okay.
What's happening here, sir?
Right. Oh, you have more shells than the 2 that are in the gun?
Well, you're not allowed to buy more than 2 at
This
a time.
changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I should already be more suspicious than I am, but this is the red herring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The fact that you carried 2 coffee cups over to me and almost scalded yourself because you're shaking so bad, that wasn't suspicious. But these shotgun shells.
So Roger escorts the cops and Harold back outside, but not before realizing his shotgun is now missing, which, well, again, the cops don't give a shit if he was suicidal or not. They don't give a shit about taking the gun. They just wanted their coffee, and they're on their way. He walks him to the door. Then he goes back to where Sandy's body is hidden. He grabs a fireplace poker, opens the door, but she's no longer there. She's not there. He goes upstairs to the bedroom, and just as he steps into the bedroom, he sees the door to the closet close. As he creeps toward the closet, that fat, slimy old witch version of Sandy raises up into the frame behind him, holding a shotgun. And just as he's about to open the closet door, the creepy old hag hits him with the butt of the gun, knocking him to the floor. And she says in a little girl's demonic voice, "Where's your son, Roger? You'll never find him now. He's dead."
He's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Roger says he isn't dead. He's somewhere in this house. So it's the first time we hear Roger believes that his son is not dead and that he is somewhere like locked in some part of this house. She points the gun at his head, pulls the trigger, but the gun's empty. So Roger knocks her out of the way and then runs away. Out in the hall, she hits him with the butt of the gun again. He falls to the floor, then opens up a closed door in the hallway, and that's where all the possessed garden tools are waiting, and they all fly out, impale the hag, and then the garden shears cut her head off. How did he know they were there? Tone in this movie, man, I tell you. It's,
Man, it's just
Hey, it doesn't matter, man. You know, it just
Yeah.
moves.
Roger bags up the head in the backyard and buries the head. And then he goes back up and he bags up the body and he drags the body outside, all to the song You're No Good.
That needle drop is incredible. That actually,
it really is.
You're no good. You're no
You're
good.
no good. You're no good. This was the thing, though. Like, I was sitting there thinking to myself, he had a really good relationship with Sandy. So I feel like this song, it's like, it's funny, right? But
Not apropos.
yeah,
Yeah, same.
if he had had a shitty relationship with his wife, I think this would have really kind of worked. With this, but it is good. The needle drop's great. It's a great song. It's funny. It pertains to the monster, but it does not pertain to his actual relationship with Sandy. So
Agreed. But yeah, great scene. He begins to dig the grave. He brings the body outside. He's starting to dig the grave when he's interrupted by that jogging neighbor from earlier. And she's climbing out of his pool. She comes out and says that his aunt used to let her use the pool.
Random. Yeah.
at 2 a.m. or whatever time it is.
It's daytime.
Yeah,
It's
this is the
daytime.
afternoon.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
It just bounces all over the place.
People take advantage of everybody in that little neighborhood.
Yeah, they do,
We
don't
don't,
they?
we don't lock our doors, and we just kind of like, do what we want.
Well, apparently the lady that lived there was crazy, but also not crazy,
And nice.
and nice, but not nice.
And probably a babysitter at one point.
You want to talk about fucked up? Yeah, we'll get there, but Jesus.
Yeah.
So he drags the body outside. She comes out of the pool, says that his aunt used to let her use the pool. He tells her he's planting a sapling, and that's what's in the bag. As they're talking, one of the hands crawls out of the bag and grabs his foot. And so the whole time they're having this conversation, he's having to stand on the hand as it tries to get away, and it crawls out and tries to grab her foot, and he has to stomp on it again. So he's standing on the foot and tells the neighbor, whose name is Tanya, that he's really busy. And she says they should get together soon. And she says, she understands. She understands when men have to work and when men have to play.
That's a good woman right there.
That's right.
So she leaves and he pulls an axe that's embedded in the body out. And the very next scene, we see Roger has chopped up the entire body and buried it in small holes all over the backyard, set to a cover of Dedicated to the One I Love. Even more odd music choice. Yeah.
Odd drop.
I mean, it's nice to have recognizable tunes. They should also make sense, I guess.
I mean, it makes sense a little bit, you're no good, you're no good, yeah, of course there's this demon after me. And then now, Dedicated to the One I Love. This is actually a caricature of my wife, apparently. I've cut it up and, this is dedicated to the one I love.
I think I may have imagined this, but I remember seeing a version of a trailer when I was a kid with one of these music cues. Maybe I've imagined that over the years, but because I remember in the trailer form, it was really intriguing. And you really got a sense of that it was a comedy horror.
I definitely would have been You're No Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with what's about to happen with our neighbor, her coming over and seeing him burying a giant body, obviously, and just, being completely nonchalant about it while being in this like extremely revealing, very 80s bathing suit.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah. Pretty incredible, actually.
She was beautiful. I don't know what that accent was.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of like very American pronunciations of words.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was born in Sweden, but you're right. There was a few scenes where she was like, and these are the bath toys. And I was like, okay, here's a sweater.
Immediately, nighttime. The song continues as he searches the house. Then he searches the pool. He goes out and looks in the pool. And then he goes in the backyard and he sees that the dog from earlier has now dug up the severed hand of that dead hag and is holding it in its mouth. And then the dog takes off running with the hand in its mouth. He goes back inside and there's a knock at the door, and it's Tanya again, and she's brought over her toddler son and a terrible mullet.
Terrible mullet.
Yeah.
Do you know whose child this is?
No.
It's the director's kid, right?
Yeah, Steve Miner's son.
Oh my God. Well, we're getting there. Let's keep talking, but we're getting there. That kid is fucking traumatized.
He has to be.
Has to be. So Roger sees that the hag's severed hand is clutching onto the boy's back and takes the kid into the bathroom, closes the door.
So awkward, man.
So awkward.
So
Closes the door while she's calling for her son. He's got the kid in the bathroom.
Who's
and
crying.
he's trying to get this hand off the kid's back and eventually bites it off. That fucking kid is crying real tears the entire scene.
Yes. Horrified.
It's the director's son.
Yes.
Jesus.
Right.
That poor kid. While I'm reading the next, look up and see what happened to that kid. See if he killed himself.
Oh my God. See, right, exactly. Or killed Steve.
So yeah, eventually, while Roger's struggling, he bites the hand off of the child and spits the hand into the toilet and flushes it, and the whole hand just goes down. At least it didn't give us an Evil Dead flip-off.
That would have been funny.
So he gets back outside and said, sorry, he had to go to the bathroom. The 80s, man. The 80s.
Yeah, dude. That was fucking wild,
Gosh.
bro.
So we find out Tanya wants Roger to babysit her son. She didn't come over to hang out. She wants him to watch her son. Well, she goes out and immediately starts piling all of these toys. And
Where's she pulling that from? She didn't have it in her hands when she showed up. I just love that's like very cartoon. She's like, oh, here, this and this and this.
the PA standing 2 feet from her.
Yes.
And here are the bath toys.
So now Roger's stuck babysitting his kid. So he props the kid on his couch and goes back to his book. So he's working on his book. And the kid with the awful mullet,
He's on the floor playing with the toys and starts crying. Yeah.
he's on the floor playing with toys, starts crying again, real tears again. That fucking kid, R.I.P., because he's probably blew his brains out at some point.
I know. I'm looking it up. Let's see what I can find.
And did you hear him? So he goes over to the kid and he says, do you want something to play with? How about a nice plastic bag?
So he said that, but the kid actually
he
responds.
did.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it's supposed to be like funny. It's a horror comedy, but he's like, how about a nice plastic bag? I was like, oh, no, too far. That's a bridge too far.
To murder you with. So Roger sits down with the kid, Robert, on the couch, and they're watching a TV show with his ex-wife in it.
Hilarious dialogue in that show, by the way.
Hilarious dialogue. It was,
Yeah.
I guess it was supposed to be like a nighttime soap.
Yeah.
He said something like about being a porn star.
I can't help it that I'm a male prostitute. Your sister gave me $2,000 for a night with her.
That's right. So Mullet Boy finally lays down to go to sleep. So he puts him down to sleep on the couch and goes back to his book. While he's working on his book, we go back to Vietnam and we pick up back from that night where he and Big Ben are out on patrol. They get ambushed. Ben is shot multiple times. Roger leaves the book there to check on the sleeping kid. Kid's gone, which is the MO of the house.
Yep.
Mhm.
Upstairs, he sees another one of those Haggy-type ghosts walking Robert into the bedroom, closing the door behind
creepier
him.
ones this time.
Even creepier ones, yeah.
Yeah. Very short, like almost kid-sized, but very
Yeah, they
wide
look like
faced.
kids. Yeah.
One of them opens the door and smiles at Roger, then closes the door. So he gets inside the bedroom. He sees that they've yanked the boy up into the fireplace, which I don't remember there being a fireplace.
Hanging out of the chimney, yeah, which is weird. But Robert's smiling. He's actually didn't seem to be fazed by this. Which
Not
is
yet.
Really weird.
Not
Yeah.
yet. Yeah, he was. He seemed to be having fun as the two little demons were trying to pull him up into the fireplace. Roger grabs him by his feet and struggling with the two that are trying to pull him up, and he finally pulls him down. And as the kid flops into his lap, you see again the trauma in that little boy's face. He is so scared by the situation he's in and he's about to cry again. He just doesn't know what the fuck is going on. Steve Miner, man. I'm not sure which is worse, what you did to your child or Soul Man.
Yeah.
Roger takes the kid to the bathroom and puts him in the bathtub because that's what we always do when
He was covered in soot. So
Covered
he
in
had to be
soot.
cleaned up. Yeah.
So he gives them a bath, which is what you do when you have someone's child that you just met.
Oh my God.
She gave him a rubber ducky for it, though. She's like, here's a ducky for the bath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tanya shows back up to pick up her kids. Now back to the mission at hand. And
Why do we need all of these scenes right here? Everything else in the movie seems to play into something, but that whole neighbor thing, is it to show that he could be a good dad even though he doesn't have his kid? So this
I don't
is
know.
now we're giving
I mean, yeah. I mean, you just think they're doing it so that he's going to be scared that he's going to lose a second child, in
Maybe.
the house and then have all of this additional guilt about this other child, right? But the problem with that is this isn't a child that we really know or care about.
It's random. Yeah.
It's too random for it to really have a lot of meaning.
And because of that mullet, we don't really cheer for.
Yeah, it's almost really more like off-putting because like Bart, like you're saying, this kid is genuinely frightened.
Yeah.
He's not acting.
As soon as that kid came into the scene, it's been 20 years since I've seen it. I remembered immediately, oh, this kid's really crying in these scenes. I had not forgotten that. That kid is so traumatized. And I think also, like, I agree. I think it was because, like, oh, shit, another kid's going to get stolen in this house.
Yeah.
And also but also to up the ante with having a kid in peril when they're to see a kid's life in danger instead of just Roger's for a change. So they leave, thank God, and it's almost midnight. So Harold shows up under the guise of watching a movie. He was invited by Roger, and that's what Roger invited him over for. But he tells Harold that we're not going to watch a movie and that it wasn't a ghost in the closet, but it was raccoons, and asks if Harold will shoot the raccoons with the harpoon gun at exactly midnight. Rabid weasels. He's given Harold the harpoon gun, which is attached to a line to like a big game fishing reel. Clock strikes 12. Roger opens the door. The creature from before lunges out of the closet. Roger beats it with a fireplace poker, and Harold is frozen. And finally, he's yelling, "Shoot it! Shoot it! Shoot it!" He finally shoots it with the line attached. The creature goes back into the closet. Roger's foot gets caught in the line, and he yanks Roger into the closet. Harold grabs his hand, and Roger says, "Don't let go." And he says,
I'll never let go, Jack.
"I'll never let go."
And then lets him go.
And then he lets him go. Yeah.
Apparently, William Katt's son visited the set the day that they filmed that. And like, why are they all letting these like little kids just hang out on the set of this film? And apparently this scene, when he was on set, when he saw him pull into the closet, the kid like broke down thinking his dad was in danger.
Fuck.
And apparently William Katt did a lot of his own stunts in this. So I'm like, why are we letting these kids? I mean, I know it was the 80s, right? Like,
This is how they learn, Lindsay. This is how they
I know,
learn.
you're right, Jared. You're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Just, give them out there to the world and let them just get on their own 2 feet
Come
in
on.
their mullets.
Hey, Dad, I want to go to set. Okay, can we wait till Thursday? There's a book signing scene that I think you would really enjoy.
Exactly.
Be a lot of really cool
Exactly.
characters for you to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the line's attached to a fishing rod. Roger gets sucked in, and then he gets pulled into this other dimension that's on the other side of the closet and gets pulled back to now the jungles of Vietnam again.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees Big Ben laying face down on the ground. He rolls him over, and Ben tells him to finish him off. Roger pulls out a knife, puts it to his throat, but he can't do it. And so Ben says, do it, do it. So instead he says he's going to go get help, leaves Ben there, and then we see the VC pulls Ben away into the jungle as he's screaming, "I'll get you for this!"
Mm-hmm.
So now we kind of see a little backstory on what happened to old Ben there.
Motive.
Then the VC starts firing at Roger. He sees a door-shaped light in the distance, run towards it, jumps through it, and he lands right back in the bedroom where Harold is passed out on a mattress on the floor with a half-drink bottle of Jack Daniels. He walks the drunken Harold to a couch, puts him on the couch, which I didn't even think about it at the time, but I thought about it this morning. It just popped in my head, and we'll talk about it in a second. Like, where did Harold go? So Roger goes to the storage shed and looks at his aunt's painting of her at the closet door, notices a rag stuck to it, pulls the rag down, and beneath the rag, he sees that it's the bathroom mirror with his son trapped in the mirror.
Sorry.
And I wish this was a video podcast so we
Right.
could all
So you could
all
see.
see Lindsay reenacting that.
The little boy in the mirror.
Well, just how we knew that, like, okay, so that her standing in the doorway is that closet apparently, but that vanity mirror is hinged on the wrong side. It does not match the wall.
Oh, you're right. It
yeah, and so
totally
I'm like, what the fuck? There's no truth in your art, guys. There's no truth in your art. Okay, come on, art department.
The aunt set up the easel with her back to the mirror, and she painted the
Oh, yeah.
mirror
Oh,
as she
and
saw it in the mirror.
She's like, hold that pose. She's like painting it from life.
Jimmy, you're looking so good. You want a PB&J while you model?
I'm gonna make you a sandwich. Now hold that pose.
Now hold that pose.
So Roger goes to the bathroom mirror. He smashes it. And on the other side of the mirror is the black void. And you can hear wind rushing by, and he throws a shaving cream can out into the void, and you hear it splash down. Not too deep.
Yeah. I will say it was moments like this that it reminded me of Get Out.
Because of the black void.
Yeah.
They did that all in one shot upon multiple viewings. When he closes the mirror, he opens the vanity, you see the shelves, he closes it. You can see it wiggle a little bit as they're removing the set from behind and preparing for him to break that, which is totally cool. I like seeing that all happen in one take. It's not an optical effect, it's real.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
That is cool.
A giant tentacle darts out from the void, and
This was a really good jump scare.
That was a reverse shot. It was shot in reverse, and it's really cool. It
otherwise
totally
they would have
works.
just been slapping a big rubber arm out.
Yeah, it was
at
so
him.
cool though, man.
It was awesome. Yeah.
So it attaches to him, wraps around his arm, starts pulling him into the void, and a bunch of other hands, more of those rubber
Tentacles and
rubber hands. It kind of reminded
Hands.
me a lot of Deadstream again.
mhm.
Grabbing him, trying to pulling him. Roger sees a straight razor on the back of the toilet, grabs it, starts hacking at them, and they all let loose, and so it frees him. Super quick cut, but then again, I guess he realized that's probably where my missing son is, so immediately he attaches a rope to his waist with shotgun in hand, and then rappels down into the void looking for his son. And while he's out there, very Army of Darkness skull bat.
Yeah, so cool though.
So cool. Stop motion. It flies by a couple of times, then it grabs his shotgun. Then very Army of Darkness spins the shotgun around on its finger and then fires and shoots the rope. And then Roger falls into the water.
I love how wide that shot is.
Also, how strong is Roger? Just holding on to that one rope.
He's got it military wrapped under his leg though, and he is somewhat repelling, which is cool. But he's able to sit upright, which is nice. But I love that shot when he falls. They cut like super wide, and he's like super tiny in the frame, like like going down. Love that. There's also a void fall like that in Bill and Ted 2, The Bogus Journey. This is one really deep hole. Anyways.
Yeah.
Roger sees bubbles in the dark pool that he's now swimming in. And so he swims down deep into the water. And then when he reemerges from the water, he's back in Vietnam again. He gets out of the water and he sees his son is held in a bamboo cage. And he goes over to his son and embraces his son. And his son says he wants to go home. And then his son says he's coming back. And then immediately we hear machine gun fire, and Roger frees his son from the cage. And then as Roger takes his son into the water, we see someone in the shadows firing a gun at them.
Bad shot.
Yeah. And I don't know what we were trying to hide at that point, because it was so obviously Big Ben by his outline and by the gun. And I don't know why we had to do it like that, unless it was out of necessity and Richard Moll wasn't there and they needed that shot.
Well, beyond that, I also thought it was a little easy to get out of that bamboo cage, because he sees that it's wrapped with chains on one side, but he's able to untie it on the other side really quickly, so the kid couldn't have figured this out. How long have you been in this cage, kid?
He's only been in there 5 minutes, Jared. We don't know.
So yeah, we don't know how time works in this world. He gets sucked in, and then, so.
It could be 3 years on the outside and 10 minutes on the inside. So he gets his son out, and they reemerge in the pool in the backyard. Roger takes his son into the house, heads to the...
This is one of those things that if you look away for 2 seconds, you come back and you're in a pool.
You're like, wait, what the hell's happening?
And you're like, hold on. This is another one of those moments, Jared, that you were saying earlier. I had to rewind it because I was like, you look away for a split second and back, and you're like, wait, how did they get in the pool? What happened?
There's a breaking thing here from what they do next. So continue, and then I'll tell you what I think about this.
Okay.
But they do give us a little when he and his son come out of the water. They give us a little music swell,
Which
Which is good. Yeah.
Which is good.
We have
Yeah.
hope. Yeah.
So it's not totally fast. It happens, but then God, they're walking into the house immediately, coming to the house to the front door. They open the front door, and
There's Big Ben.
it's Big Ben, but it's a ghost skeleton version of Big Ben.
All right. So this is my thing. They come out of the pool, right? Then they go into the house to go to the
go
front door to
outside?
leave. Just go around the fucking house. What are we doing?
Yep, I thought the same thing.
Just go around the back of driveway and get in your car. Did you need the keys maybe?
Yeah,
or
well,
something?
I know we needed the reveal of Big Ben. We had to open a door that's an internal wipe or whatever. It's like, oh, holy shit, he's standing here in our way. But guess what? We were already outside. I needed to see them both drying off with a towel. Or so they had to go inside to, dry off with a towel so they could leave. Give me motivation for why you're in the house.
Or a close-up of a bowl with a key in it and snatching out the key out of the bowl.
Right,
And,
right.
That's where my car keys are. Yeah, something like
exactly.
that. Yeah,
Because I doubt he jumped into the void with his car keys on him.
right.
But yeah, it was just totally abrupt. All of a sudden, we're at the front door. There's Big Ben as a skeleton ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Roger says, "Big Ben," and Ben says, "No, it's your fairy godmother."
Wah, wah.
At this point, any dialogue from here on out is all throwaway lines. It's
Come
just
back from the grave and I'm out of ammunition.
everything. Exactly. So they tussle for a bit. Ben takes Roger's son, and Ben says that the VC tortured him for weeks and that he should have killed him. And Roger puts down his son and tells his son to get out of the house. So we see a shot of his son trying to open the door elsewhere, trying to get out of the house, but can't get out. Roger runs through the house. Ben breaks through the window in the living room. And where does he run upstairs? Oh, that's right. This is why it's so confusing, because they run upstairs and they come back downstairs and they have the same thing right there. And we could have not even went up. Yeah, that's why I'm so confused, because it was so confusing.
Zing.
Yes.
So he runs upstairs, goes to the bathroom, climbs out of the bathroom window, goes up onto the roof, while the whole time Ben is chasing after him, firing through the door, coming for him. That's where he says the line about running out of ammo. And then Roger climbs up into the attic off of the roof, goes back into the second floor, comes back down the stairs right to the fucking spot we were 2 minutes before. And then that's where they have a tussle. Roger knocks him to the ground, pulls off his arm, starts beating him with his arm.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Right.
That's what got so unnecessary. I know you're trying to build tension, but you're
yeah.
already over 90 minutes. This movie's over 90 minutes. So he beats him with his arm. They're at the front door. Ben grabs his arm from him, puts his arm back on. I guess we're to show that you can't defeat him in this way. So Roger runs to the back of the house, throws the door open to, I think would be the living room or the kitchen. And now it's a straight drop down to the rocky shoreline below,
Which makes no sense.
in this void. I would assume it's this void, but it looks just like a very cold shoreline
The house is on a cliff. Yeah.
in Scotland or something. And then Roger falls out of the door, and he's hanging on by the floor of this. It's a kitchen later. I was so confused, but it's the kitchen floor. So he's hanging onto the kitchen floor. Out over this rocky shoreline. Ben steps out, steps on his fingers of one hand. He's crushing his fingers while he's stepping on them. And then he's a writer. Let's not forget, the guy's a writer.
Mm-hmm.
He takes his belt off with the other hand while his other hand is being crushed and stepped on, pulls out his belt, loops it, swings it out, loops Ben's arm, yanks on it, and sends Ben falling into the rocky shoreline below.
Mm-hmm.
Then Roger pulls himself back up, crawls into the house, which is now the kitchen, and the opening to the ocean is now gone. And he hears his son call from upstairs, so he runs back upstairs. Ooh, I need a drink.
I know, right?
Right.
He runs back upstairs to find Ben holding his fucking son again.
Yeah, he can apparate.
Yeah, so now it's our
Right.
third altercation with Ben in less than 5 minutes. So Ben is holding his son, and he's got a knife, and he said he's going to kill his son unless he kills himself. So then we kind of see like, oh, that's probably how the grandmother was tricked.
That's how
in a
the
similar
grandmother.
fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls out his knife and he hacks off Roger's hand, but then Roger raises his hand up and his hand is still there. And Roger says he's not afraid of him anymore and that he can't hurt him or his son anymore, and says,
I'm not afraid anymore. Sorry.
I beat you. I beat this house. Yeah, exactly.
The creepiest thing about Big Ben is you can see the actor's mouth in his mouth.
And his eye.
It's weird. Like he can see his teeth behind his fake teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, like, whenever you have like a ghost thing, they did this really good in Scrooged. They put black stuff in the ghost's mouth so their tongues aren't red.
So their tongues, yeah.
Yeah, this guy, every time he talks, he's got his full red mouth deep inside, and you can see his lips and teeth beyond the makeup, which was throwing me, but it was also kind of creepy.
Yeah.
If their goal was to make it a very tension-filled last 5 minutes, it succeeded. But it was a lot of running upstairs, running downstairs, running upstairs, running downstairs, falling off a
There's a lot
cliff,
of faff.
climbing back
Yeah.
in, running back upstairs, and there it happens. So he says, I beat you, I beat this house. Roger snatches his son away from him as Ben is looking very befuddled. What?
Yeah.
Pulls a grenade from Ben's belt and then shoves it into his stomach and runs out of the room, closing the door behind him.
Which he can't do anything about. He's like, what am I supposed to do with that?
I came back from the dead, but I don't know how to pull anything out of my own stomach.
Yeah. Not the grenade in the stomach again.
That'll stick.
Gosh, how did they know?
So Ben go boom. He explode. He blows up. And outside, Roger's wife shows up in a taxi.
I can't.
Broad daylight now. Shows up at a taxi. Harold is standing in his yard now. So at some point during all of this, he went home. He got off the couch and went home. Got a fresh set of clothes.
He's like, you guys are being really loud. I need to go home and go to bed.
Of course,
all this running up and down the stairs.
Of course, it could have been like Harold could have called his ex-wife like, I haven't seen Roger in a month, because he's been in the void. So we don't know how long this lasts.
Who knows?
Like, he vanished like a month ago. So she shows up just as to see the house burning. All the upstairs is on fire, and she and Harold were looking up at the house, and then the door burst open, and there is Roger holding their son. Music swells. Her son says, Mommy.
Jimmy runs out.
to his mom, hugs the mom. And our final shot is one of the weirdest shots of Bill Katt smiling at them, but at the camera. And we do a totally unnecessary freeze frame of this.
No, that is a necessary freeze frame, sir. The only thing that this movie was missing was fucking yellow credits. It's like, I need you to freeze frame yellow credits. It's just 80s.
I mean, it is like the weirdest ending ever. Roger defeats Big Ben. The house collapses. Jimmy runs out. Sandy hugs him. Roger walks out. Cut. Done. Bye. End. Over.
We don't need a prologue. We don't, or an epilogue, whatever. We just need to move on,
I know, but there's so much stuff that they prolonged in this film that they didn't need to, and yet they made this really weird ending. I don't know.
That was such a decision, I think, like, hey, I think it's going to be a little too on the nose if he joins her and it just shows they're going to get back together and be happy again. Let's not go too far. It's like, we went too far already. Just do it.
Right.
We need the Nightmare on Elm Street ending where Big Ben shows back up and pulls him back into the house.
Sucks him through the window.
Yeah.
The balloon version of him. Here's what I would have liked to have seen. He publishes the book. Harold comes over, gets a signed copy, and the last shot of the movie is a super slow motion of Harold's dog dropping a giant turd on his yard. Credits.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
The hand's got to come back and go into the yard.
The hand comes up and grabs the turd.
That's right. And the hand comes up and grabs the turd and Kate's it back in. No more shitting in my yard, fucker. Credits. I don't know. I wanted something.
Did we need an extra 20 minutes on this movie?
No, we did not. But there's, like I say, there's just other things they could have cut.
I love a cheesy freeze frame, guys, because I was like, okay, the movie's over. We did it.
Yep. Yeah, we did it.
Well, that's it.
That's it. That's house.
That's house.
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 This house is
So
clean.
we talked a lot about it, but I think like Lindsay said at the beginning, we just do these three questions and kind of recap with these three questions.
All right, so let's see here. Jared, let's get some of your thoughts on this. GB Shannon, tell us what you think. Comedy horror meter. So on a scale from straight up horror to full on comedy, Where did this one land for you? Usually we do kind of like a 70-30, 80-20. Was it more horror than comedy? The other way around? And where does the cut happen for you?
I don't think it's very scary, and I don't think it's very funny. So I have very like I have.
It's not a meter on did it succeed or not.
Oh, okay.
What genre is this? You're working at a video store. Where do you put it on a shelf? Pretending that there are video stores in 1985.
Pretending they're video stores.
I don't know, man. Yeah, sure. I guess at that time, we're putting this horror because there's, there's disturbing things. I think if I had seen this when I was like, this came out, 85? I was 1. So yeah, if I had seen this as a baby, yeah, it probably would have scared the shit out of me. So I'm going to give it like 80-20. No, let's do 70-30, like, horror to comedy. Even though I think that they were probably trying to lean more comedy and maybe try to be more marketable in that way. But I think it just comes off as more hokey to me.
Yeah. My thoughts are exactly the same. And for that reason, because this movie scared the daylights out of me when I was younger. I had nightmares because of it. So because of that, it just leans more horror just because that's my experience with the film. And I say 70-30 as well. There's physical comedy, there's rubbery monsters, but to me, the spine of the movie is really kind of trauma. Fear of losing your child and, being haunted by failures. There's some themes in there that do get pretty heavy and to me lean more into the horror of it and the closet monsters and the ghosts and the body distortions. I mean, I don't think it's, it's not, 100% just really crazy horror, but a lot of the themes in there, I think, help lean the meter more towards horror as well. That's my thought. What do you think? What say you, GB?
I saw this at 16. And it was definitely a different time. A lot of horror movies, as we know as classics today, had not happened yet. So everything has changed. So I remember seeing this at 16 and feeling the sadness of him losing his kid. So that like that trauma part of it was strange. Seeing the grandmother swinging at the beginning and then seeing her hang herself as a ghost. That was disturbing to see as a teenager. I look at it this way. So this was 3 million. Is that what we said in 85?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say this was 10 million in 85. That means it would have looked amazing. That the creature effects would have been scary as fuck. It would have been a totally different movie. And I think with those things of like it looking amazing and the effects being just batshit scary, I think they would have taken a little extra time to smooth out some of those rough edges. So I think with a bigger budget, I think it would have been I think it would be considered like one of the classics today.
Yeah.
Even with the script, like that was the biggest thing I was struggling with. It was like the dialogue is super hokey and like all these like super pushed expositional scenes and then when I looked at like the budget converted, I was like, this is actually a lot of money at this time, and I expected this to be a little bit higher caliber than it was, or maybe it was just written intentionally cheesy. I don't know.
That's what I think. I think like it was, your budgetary constraints going in.
Yeah.
So you're saying it was a lot of money, but there was a lot of missing money somewhere. Just by how it looked alone.
Yeah.
So I think going in, they're hiring the wrong people for whatever reason.
Right.
Hiring the wrong person to shoot this, hiring nobody to polish the script. So
this is the Critters DP, which is interesting.
And I think Sean Cunningham also has a lot to do with this as well, because like we got to do this cheap and fast. And
Yeah.
I think that stuff would have made the script better. So all of this is a long way to say, I'd say 85-15.
Okay.
All right. So elevator pitch. If you were trying to get this movie greenlit or just, trying to convince a friend to watch it, what's your elevator pitch? What's the hook that kind of sums it up?
I've got one written, and I even have
I love it.
I even have what I would probably put on the poster.
Let's hear it, Jared.
Okay. So, a grieving horror novelist inherits his aunt's house, the same one that swallowed his kid and wrecked his life. Inside, poltergeists, rubber monsters, and peak 80s chaos. He inherited the house, the 80s kid, and now it wants the rest of him.
Yes, Jared. That's really good. Oh, man. And you said you have an idea of what's on the poster? Did I miss that part of it?
Oh, no, that's what I said, yeah. He inherited the house that ate his kid, and now it wants the rest of him.
Got it. Okay. I'm here for that. Bart, what have you got?
For the 12th straight episode, I'm going to completely wing it. So I have a feeling if I listen back to all of the ones, I'll probably do the same pitch for every single film, just with a couple of different words different. But I would say if I was pitching it to somebody to watch it, I would say it's a very bizarre, ambitious, but uneven horror film packed with a lot of TV stars of the day that not necessarily pays off in the end, but is a really fun ride. That was my view of it when I was a kid, and it's still my view of it. The tone is just
All over the
smeared
place.
on with a dirty mayonnaise knife. But I like it. I like it.
That was a good elevator pitch too. So mine leaned into that a little bit, Bart, but I just said, if you've ever wanted to watch the greatest American hero team up with Norm to defeat Bull inside a haunted house, this is your movie.
All right.
That's it.
There's your goddamn slug line.
Elevator pitch. That's it. All right. So would you recommend this movie to everyone or only to a certain kind of fan? What's the right audience for House?
There's a guy that's on my podcast named Mike Griggs who will never watch this film. So it can't be for everyone. But I don't know. This is one of those movies you turn on with a bunch of people, and I think you could have a really good time watching it. You know, it'd be a good group watch because you can kind of like make fun of it a little bit, especially, you know, in nowadays time. So yeah, I think you know, if you like horror films at all, this is a goofy one and a fun one to watch. So if to someone, you know, so people who are into horror, you should watch it. And especially because I'm telling you, this is an iconic poster art.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, even the house itself is iconic.
That's a spooky
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. I think with a gummy, this movie would be really funny to watch with a big group of
With
people.
3 gummies. Yeah.
With 3 gummies. Yeah. Right.
You know, I would just because of the pedigree behind it, you know? Anyone who's a horror fan that respects the history of horror with Sean S. Cunningham and Steve Miner and a Manfredini score. I mean, yeah, the pedigree behind it is worth it.
Even the stunt coordinator for the film, he played Jason Voorhees.
Kane Hodder was the stunt coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right on. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always use my mentor kid. I say mentor kid. He's 21 now, but I was his mentor since he was 14. I always use him as the litmus test because he likes like hard horror. And I know the shit that he wouldn't watch and he would never sit through this. He just wouldn't. And which is a shame because there's a lot of good payoffs in this.
Yeah.
I would recommend it personally to anybody who likes horror, especially people that like odd, like humor tinged horror.
Yeah, same. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but you've got to. It's so uniquely 80s, right? And the, like you say, the pedigree behind it. You've definitely have to appreciate 80s tonal chaos to get it. But I mean, if you like Gremlins and movies like that, I think you'd probably dig it.
All right. Well, that's it, Jared. That is House. I hope you enjoyed your time with us today. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. It's been fun.
I'm glad that you picked a film that you hadn't seen before.
Of the ones that you gave me, I watched the trailers and I was like, you know, this is the one. This is the one we should see.
Well, thanks for watching the trailer. Some people just pick and they're like, wait, why'd you make me watch this movie? And I'm like, you picked it. You picked.
Lindsay, got anything else?
No. Proud of us.
I think it's in the books.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Movie Crew Podcast. Highly recommend it. You can check it out. It'll be in the show notes. But anything else you want to shout out to?
No, man, it's just the Movie Crew, and you know, I do a bunch of commercials and stuff that you know you can't search. They exist. You may have seen something I've done, but you wouldn't know it's me, which is great. I love that about myself. But yeah, if you want to listen to more things like this, you can find me on the Movie Crew Pod, and you can find that Movie Crew Podcast anywhere podcasts are found.
Right on.
That's awesome. And how many episodes in are you guys?
We're real close to hitting 450.
And Lindsay, that's weekly.
That's insane.
Yeah.
All right, my man. I appreciate it. It was good seeing you.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks, Jared. Bye.
That was fun.
That was so much fun. I love watching films and being on this podcast with filmmakers, you know, because I'm not one and you are one. And so to hear you two go back and forth and talk about things that I'm not going to catch onto when I'm watching a film. It's so fun listening to all that. And y'all were great. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
He really knows his shit.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to be honest. I did not know about this podcast. I cannot wait to dive in. 450 episodes to catch up on.
You don't even know about Punch the Macaque. How are you going to have time for 450 episodes?
I barely have time to go to the bathroom during the workday. You should see my work schedule. So, I mean, I've got a whole lifetime of stuff to catch up on. I'm still watching Dallas.
You got a lot of living to do.
I'm still catching up on. Did JR get shot? What happened? We've got some catching up to do. We got to get to 450 real fast.
Now that we're bi-weekly instead of weekly.
It may take us a while.
May take us a while. Exactly.
Well, and until this podcast just blows up and we have to quit our day jobs and this is all we do all day, every day.
Till then, it shall stay bi-weekly until we decide to make it monthly.
That's right. Exactly. I was going to say.
All right, Lindsay. Good seeing you.
Good to see you. I'll see you soon, my friend.
All right. Take care. All music for this podcast is provided by MKE. To hear more of his music, visit his band's website at detectivemusic.com and Detective on Spotify.